So that's what's going on in the WWE realm. And it looks like there's trouble in paradise once again in AEW. Britt Baker has been suspended by AEW for 2 weeks following an altercation with MJF regarding some remarks that she had made. Um, she was confronted by MJF. Um, but yeah, Britt is in the middle of this program with Mercedes Moné building up to All In, which is at the end of this month, a week prior to Bash at Berlin. She's going to be competing against Mercedes for that TBS championship. I want to know how you feel about Britt being suspended this close to All In and just the situation overall.
Yeah, hey, listen, I can't believe I'm saying this, but he was right. CM Punk was right. It's a high school. I'm surrounded by a bunch of kids. Um, what she did, you don't do that, man. Like you got to understand that this dude is the bread and butter. Him and Will Ospreay are the bread and butter of this company. Being MJF, you can't just be going around talking about him and his girlfriend is around and MJF blowing up. You know he got a little temper. You know he got little temper. You know he got a temper. He got that small man complexion, and then he probably feel me. He got swole, but he ain't got swole. You know what I mean? The right way. I'll just say that allegedly. So it's a lot of that going on, man. It's really like high school, and it's right on time again. Like I saw the meme. You know how they do the Kevin Gates, Rick
Yeah.
Ross meme that's going around. They did that with. They was like AEW locker room close to All Out or All In. It's always around this time, just like last year, where they go unprofessional before their biggest event of the year. There's always something, dude. It's too many grown people making six figures or more to be acting like that. This would never happen in the E, especially when the old man was there. The old man was there, everybody getting fired or everybody getting fined. So again, Tony, I gotta hit you with the cat. I gotta hit you with the car because it's getting spooky as we about to talk about too. Once you get to the other AEW news, me and my comrade been saying on Banks versus Davis for years, 2 years left. Hey brother, figure something else out. You might want to try to buy a basketball team or something.
Buy a basketball team is crazy. But here's what I will say. I actually have to, I feel like anytime we talk about AEW, there's always this notion of like, oh my God, they're so childish, right? Because all the stuff happens there. What I will say is that companies do not, they are not responsible for what happens within the company. They are responsible for how they respond to it. Because as a person who has been in a lot of corporate environments, a lot of wicked stuff goes on regardless of how professional it looks. There's always some wicked stuff going on, and you can't really control that. You can only control your response. There's the reason why HR is a thing, and policies are a thing, and practice and procedures are a thing. And so I think we do need to commend the AEW discipline committee for responding to this in a decent manner and in the way in which they did it. It shows the evolution of the company, the growth of the company, because we saw what happened with Punk and how they were kind of all over the place. And it exposed the fact that they did not have a system in place that was designated to handle conflict and designated to handle it immediately. So the fact that they are doing this and they're doing it in the manner, I think that we need to give our hats off to them. With that being said, still childish. I think that it's interesting. I mean, I don't know the relationship between Britt Baker and MJF. Britt Baker has been vocal about not wanting to hear MJF's 30-minute promos on a podcast before. Um, Inflammatory to say the very, very least. But when you pitch creative control, all types of things happen. Not everyone needs control, but that's a different story for a different day. Um, but I mean, it's one of those things where all of these things matter in the public eye. And if you love the company, you'll love it enough to do what's best for the brand, even though you may be at odds with another person, right? You have to do what's best for the brand, even if you're at odds with another person. And I think that when Punk was saying, he's surrounded by high schoolers, I think he was surrounded by a bunch of people who put their personal vendettas above the brand and they wanted to pop off and be cute. And then next thing you know, we have another PR stunt. We have another HR disaster class because people that are in high positions, people that are critically acclaimed within your company, highly promoted, getting a lot of TV time, are literally positioning you for a negative public perception because you don't know what discipline is. So I think that it's one of those things. But as far as MJF is concerned, this was expected. MJF is currently the most valuable asset in AEW, in my opinion. Even though he isn't the world champ, he's still the champ. Even though he isn't the, even though he isn't necessarily the holding big Swerve's title. When you come back to a company after saying to WWE you wanted Roman Reigns money, like, dog, you gotta invest in your investment. He's the guy there. You don't disrespect the guy. Period. That's all I really have to say about that. But let me know what y'all think about this MJF Britt Baker scenario and leave your comments below. We're gonna be moving on. Thank you guys so much for watching the Culture 316 podcast. If you liked what you saw, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you guys can stay up to date with all upcoming videos and events pertaining to Culture 316.